actually, yes, I think you have met Kimrim Godbury before. She is actually a very important figure in dwarven culture. She is a expeditioner and a historian and an archaeologist, and
Yeah, I saved
her.
her from assassins.
Indeed, you did, didn't you? Didn't you?
All right, I'm gonna step up. Hey, you can't talk about her that way.
Suddenly, the crowd goes silent. They turn and they look at you, this large half-orc. Most of these people very weak looking, and there's a pause. It is quiet.
Tess looks to Ianfyr and says,
Tess would really like to know what your plan is right now.
We're gonna have to use our skills with magic in order to create an illusion of voices. Loud, thunderous voices.
Oh, Tess can do that. What you need the voices to say.
We need the crowd to believe that House Drach is the one that's causing this disease.
Okay.
All right, and Rex speaks up and he's like, "Well, they're good people. They've helped us in many a time, and we know that people are trying to undermine their good name. So if you got some proof of this, I'd like to see it. Or else shut your gob."
The dwarf steps forward to address you. He raises up a wiry little hand from his robe. He's actually quite a bit skinnier than his face would betray as he produces this hand from his robe. It's very pale and very gaunt. He says, "Ah, but the disease that is a magical disease is all the proof that we need."
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a sorcery point to use my metamagic skill of Subtle Spell.
Okay.
To cast a spell without any verbal components.
All right.
And using a gesture, I'm going to use my... is it this one? I'm pretty sure it is. Let me see if I put it in the chat there. There we go. So I'm going to cast my Prestidigitation cantrip, and then I'm going to use it to create sort of like the sound of like booming thunder, like as if there's like, clouds of lightning suddenly starting to just, thunder forth all across the area.
Okay. And Okay, and you're doing this using Subtle Spell.
Yeah, so I'm using a sorcery point so that I don't have to use a verbal component.
Okay.
And then using that, I'm also going to create. Let me see. Is it on this one, or maybe it's? There we go. No, so it's just going to be sort of like booming lightning, sort of like as if there's a storm that's starting to brew forth. And then I look sort of over towards Tess and give like a knowing look.
to do the voices for thaumaturgy,
Yeah.
at least? Okay. Well, let me... Why is it not giving me the option to cast? You know what thaumaturgy
You have
is.
to, yeah, so if you do it in table, if you open up your sheet and then you click it, you basically click it again after it's opened, and it should link in.
Let me refresh my page real quick on D&D Beyond.
I actually don't know how to do that myself. There it is. I got it.
There we go. Yep.
I linked it.
You did? You linked it? Awesome.
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I
thank
linked
you.
it from your character sheet. So let me see. So we have
So this is going to be a voice booming like 3 times as loud as normal for a minute.
okay, and we only have the verbal component there. It is pretty noisy here, so That's probably been covered up by the rest of the noise. However, Ianfyr, there is a somatic component to prestidigitation. If you would like to
Yes.
conceal said somatic component, please roll a stealth check.
Okay. I'm going to use my where is it? My Tides of Chaos ability, and I'm going to give myself advantage on this check.
Understood.
And Rek yells out, "What? That don't make any sense. I may be some simple tribal orc, but we know that if the chieftain's kid farts, we don't blame the chieftain for it."
And this is stealth, you said?
Yeah, he said stealth.
Would it? I was gonna say, is it? Well, I mean, I guess sleight of hand wouldn't really.
I'll allow sleight of hand, yeah. I'll allow that.
Okay. And then. So I roll a 24.
Suddenly the sky grows dark. Clouds roll in. And from somewhere, perhaps unexpected, rain begins to fall. The dwarf standing before the crowd looks around. Witchcraft.
To try and draw like attention to herself with her hood up, Tess can approach the crowd.
All right.
And she still has thaumaturgy going because it's like a minute long or something like that. I'm assuming she still has thaumaturgy, or we could do it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And with her voice booming loud, she just starts speaking in Infernal. Making sure that although she's speaking Infernal, that the name Drach in specific is drawn attention to. So basically in Infernal, she's going to state like, you are all incorrect. Like this is the doing of House Drach. You know, Drach is responsible for this. And even if they don't understand Infernal, they can hear the name Drach like twice, like in her sentences.
The dwarf, suddenly his eyebrows furl and he appears panicked. He looks around toward Rollo, and Kimram says, "What's wrong, Drach? You seem to have lost your nerve." The Drach sort of tucks his head down, pulls his hood over his head to guard from the rain, and he walks past the crowd, who begins to dissipate. Rollo, Tanglestrand in tow. And as he passes by you and makes his way through the archway, you can hear him mumbling, "Godbury, scum."
I'm smiling under her hood. Tess is going to breathe a little bit of sigh of relief.
The crowd begins to dissipate, and
Hey, y'all get out of here! It's raining. Didn't your parents give you the sense Scott gave a goat? And
Maintain social distance. Maintain.